think it's best we move into the next section now. Now, the next section is actually about mental health. We're going into mental health in proper. Now, we have a beautiful speaker in the house, a work psychiatrist professional, a work psychologist certified professional, a author. She's a speaker, a teacher. Please join me with those lovely and beautiful hands as I make welcome to the podium, Mrs. Oke Chie. Thank you very much.
Praise the Lord. A very good afternoon to all of us, and what a pleasure, what a delight. I had to excuse myself from the last exercise to catch my breath, so I'm able to take this session. But fantastic session. Thank you so much, Pastor Yemi. Pastor Yemi and I go way back to how many years? 12 or 14 years. Praise the Lord. It's always an awesome privilege to be here. Thank you, sir, for the opportunity. I like being amongst young people because there's something that it does to you, makes you feel young, Abi. So maybe we'll stay here to live. Where are you going to after this place? Please put my name on, add my name on the list. Abi. Hallelujah. So yes, for a session, for a topic, I have managing your mental health while pursuing a successful career, business, or even just living your life in general. So whether it is business, whether it is career, whether it is living your life in general, your mental health must be balanced. Your mental health must be solid. So with a focus on building mental strength and managing your anxiety, your depression, and the pressures of life. Building mental strength, building resilience, building mental capacity, looking inwards, building intrinsic motivation. So my session is going to be practical. I heard a lot what the last speaker, he's laid the foundation. Let's give him another round of applause. Well done, sir. Laid a proper foundation. And I'm glad I heard some of the questions that you people were asking, because that's the core of my session. So by the grace of God, we'll be looking at practical tools, strategies of how we can keep our mental health balanced, even as we live our life, pursue our everyday business, or in the workplace. Before I take the scriptures, I'd like us to just do something. I'd like you to just get up. Just get up and hug yourself, Not yourselves. Hug yourself. Not yourselves. Hug yourself. Call your name and validate yourself. Say, "Ha, Chai, Choma, you have been doing so well. You are fearfully and you are wonderfully made. You are powerful. You are capable. You are graced for such a time as this. You are anointed. You are a high flyer. You have done well. You have been doing well. And you will still continue to do well. The spirit of excellence rests on the inside of you. Greater is he that is in you. You cannot fail. You cannot fail. Just validate yourself. Affirm yourself. Call your name. Call your name, your own name. And affirm yourself. And so shall it be done to you according to your faith. Let's sit down. When I said hug yourself, a lot of people were confused because it's not something we do. We wait for other people to validate us. We wait for other people to affirm us. Is it not the same set of teeth that they have that we have? Do they have 42 and you have only 32? So why can't you bedazzle yourself? Now the story is told about a guy who had 2 potted plants. And each day he would pick one of the plants and say to this, "I see you thriving. I see you doing well." And he would say to the other one, "I see you dying even unto your roots." He did that for a number of weeks. And after a certain number of time, he brought those 2 plants. And the one that he was affirming had thrived and blossomed. And the other one had shriveled and died down. Never ever underestimate the power of positive affirmation. the power and your ability to talk yourself up. The mistake a lot of us make, particularly as women and young girls, is that because we are struggling with a number of self-image and body issues, we wait for other people to validate. We get our validation from other people. But who says it has to be so? What's wrong with you validating yourself? So I'd like us to take some scriptures. John 16:33. Philippians 4:6-8. Ecclesiastes 3:1-8. John 16:33 says, "These things I have spoken to you, that in me you would have peace. In the world you will have tribulation. But be of good cheer. I have overcome the world." Philippians 4:6-8 says, "Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all human understanding, will guide your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus." And Ecclesiastes 1:8 says, "To everything there is a season." I won't read all, but we all know that scripture very well. "A time for every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck what is planted. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to mourn, and a time to laugh." And it just goes on and on and on and on and on. What does those scriptures say to us? What do those scriptures say to us? As long as you are alive, as long as you are in this world, you would have tribulations. And then he said, "Be anxious for nothing. By prayer and supplication," he says, "let your request be known." Did he say, "and your prayer will be answered"? No. He said, "and the peace of God that surpasses all human understanding." When we get to the place of attitude, you will see what that scripture truly means. Peace is an attitude. Peace is an attitude. And then he says, there is a time for everything. A time to be born and a time to this and this. What does that say to us? This surely will pass. Yes. Whatever it is that we are seeing going wrong, it will pass. It will come to pass. Because scripture cannot be broken. Virtually everything that can go wrong. Sorry, I like to walk around when I'm teaching. Virtually everything that can go wrong in Nigeria has gone wrong. Our economy, flooding, insecurity, disaster, businesses folding up. There's a particular young lady who used to make beautiful, nice snacks. Her meat pie was to die for. And the other day I called her, "Can you supply us meat pie?" And she says, "Oh, I'm not available." I said to my husband, "This lady's business has folded up." My husband said, "Okay, let's give her some time. Maybe she's passing through some." We called her again. "I'm not available." I don't need a prophet to tell me that that business has crashed. Somebody who started a business when diesel was 200 and something, where would that person be now that diesel is 800? But you know the funny thing, it's not only in Nigeria. Outside of globally, the picture is not even brighter. With the war in Ukraine, energy crisis, high cost of living crisis. In the UK, you think it's only in Nigeria that things are expensive? My children are in the UK and they're crying, they're complaining. Bread, milk, basic things, high cost of living. It's a global recession. Flooding is not only in Bayelsa or Nigeria. Florida, all those other nations, they're flooding. Insecurity, terrorism is only in Nigeria. So it's a global problem. It's a global problem. So what then do we now need to begin to do? That is the big question that needs to be answered. And I want to point three scenarios, or maybe 3 or 4 scenarios. I need you to just listen very carefully. Listen very carefully. 2 ladies in their middle age lost their job at the same time, were laid off because of the recession. And one says, "Oh, I am done for. After giving the whole of my life and my youth to this organization, where am I going to start from? How can this happen to me? How can they even do this to me?" And the second lady says, "Oh, wow. Thank God. I'm not going to be able to do the things I've always wanted to do in my life." Second scenario. We were in a business meeting when somebody shared the story, a businesswoman meeting for ladies. And she said, "Buy your peace." And we said, "What do you mean buy your peace?" And she said a woman traveled and returned to her matrimonial home. than she was supposed to and caught her husband in bed. Is it strange woman you people call them? Side chick and all of those things we call them. On their matrimonial bed. What did she do? Did she shoot the man? No. She just said, oh, wow. You missed me that much. I'm so sorry you missed me. She dropped her things, opened the door, let out the side chick, and began to minister to her husband. On the flip side, another lady, we all heard the story, saw her husband in a car with a side chick. You didn't even see them in the bed. You saw them in the car. And you chased after them. And your life ended. Scenario number 3. Again, 2 women were having a meal in a restaurant, having a nice time chatting. And some other lady passes by their table and accidentally trips and says, oh, it is the bag that you put there that caused me to trip, and began to abuse and mutter obscenities. And one of the ladies got up and says, it is you, and begins to exchange insults with her. And the other lady sits like this and says, wow, it has nothing to do with me. It's not about me. You are just having a bad day. I'll give you a brief minute or brief second to ponder on those scenarios. And then questions we need to begin to ask ourselves are, why are some people able to remain calm in the face of such challenging adversity? And others just flip over and collapse like a pack of cards. Or get stuck in what I call a mindset. In psychology, we call it a mindset of learned helplessness. My papa don't die syndrome. Your father died 10 years ago. He's still the same reason why you are stuck in life. Why are some people able to find solutions in the midst of challenges and chaotic situations, and other people are not able to? Those are some of the things we are going to be looking at in this session. Now, here's what I'd like you to do. Get a sheet of paper. I'd like you to write the following letters. Write S. Write A. Write F. Write E. Write T. Write B. B, letter B. And write O. S means stimulus. Triggers. All of these things that we are seeing that are happening in Nigeria. There is no fuel queue. In short, there's a section of my estate we don't even bother to pass, because there's a filling station there and the road is always blocked. So S is all of these things that are happening. The stimulus. I don't know what your own personal stimulus is in your business. But can I tell you something? Characteristics of stimulus, they are present everywhere. You may not be able to do anything about it. A lot of times, stimuluses are out of your control. Businesses will fail. It has nothing to do with you. Somebody who bought, you said that business buying diesel at 200. How do you expect the person to cope? So a lot of times, stimulus, you cannot do anything about it. Stimulus is the reason why mental health issues on the increase. We heard of the lady who called an Uber at 3 a.m. and got out at Third Mainland Bridge and jumps into the lagoon. Stimulus. People have said she was quarreling with her, with the fiancé. We've heard all sorts of things. That is stimulus. Marriages are packing up day and night. There is misunderstanding. Oh, we are no longer compatible. It is stimulus that is causing all of that. It is triggers that is causing all of that. Let me give you some statistics. You know, first of all, mental health, according to WHO, is a state of well-being. Before I continue with that SAFETB, let me just give you some statistics. According to WHO, mental health is a state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life. Did you hear the normal stresses of life? Stress will always be present. The Bible has already told us, in this world you will have tribulation. But despite that, you can cope, you can work productively and fruitfully, you can contribute your own quota. So irrespective of what is going on, you can identify your abilities and function optimally. That is mental health, according to WHO. You know, mental health is very important. Yes, it affects not just your business, it affects every aspect of your life. Common mental health issues are the anxiety disorders you talked about, the depression, and all of those things that, Here's some statistics. Half of all mental health conditions start by 14 years of age, but most cases are undetected and untreated. So I'm happy that we're in this is a knowledge sharing information session. And let's clap for our pastor for supporting this initiative and for the organizers of this program, because this is so relevant for such a time as this. 1 in 5 young persons aged 16 to 24 experience a common mental or emotional issue such as anxiety or depression at any one time. Do you know why? About that age, you people are in your exploratory stages, 20 to 30. That is the time where you choosing your career, choosing life partners, your body is changing, so there's body image, there's this, and there's that, and there's that. So a lot of things, you are in your exploration stage at that time. You have not gotten to maintenance. Maintenance is for people like us. You are in exploration and establishment. You are trying to find, okay, which career am I going to establish in? Which life partner am I going to marry? And all of that. So you're making a lot of decisions. And there's pressure, peer pressure. Social media just came and just scattered everything. As if the problems were not enough. Social media just scattered everything. You see somebody who is polished and all of that. The amount of fakeness. When we get to strategies that will help us maintain, we are going to talk a little bit about that. People are putting themselves under pressure because of social media. And it is affecting your mental, particularly for you guys, the young ones. So that is why you have a lot of young people under pressure. There's pressure to marry, pressure to make it, pressure to blow, pressure to this, pressure to look a certain way. If you do not look a certain way, it is a problem. Where is the evidence? Who said that this is the ideal body image? Is it not the same God who created all things? And the Bible says when he created all, he says everything was good. Your breast must be this size. Your buttocks. So people are doing all kinds of manners of rubbish. They are adding buttocks. Those who have are removing. Those who don't have, they are adding. What's going on? So it's just one crazy environment. So you must begin to do certain things to maintain your sanity. To maintain your sanity. 75% of adults with a diagnosable mental health problem experience the first symptom by the age of 24. It just, gives weight to what I talked about, because this is a critical stage. This stage where you guys are in is a critical stage. This is the foundation stage for what you will experience in your later life, in your midlife, in your old age. If you get it wrong at this time, it will spiral. So you must get it right. You must, and thank God for the church community and for programs like this. Okay? So there are certain multiple factors that you can't control, including your genetics. He's already talked about that. Hormonal, environmental factors, social media, and all of that. But there is one factor that you can control. And we will look at that when we get to mindset optimization strategies. We'll get there. So, now, we've talked about stimulus, Abi. So all of these things is stimulus and trigger. What did we say characteristics of stimulus was? They will not go away. They will not. Today we're looking at fuel, high cost. Do you know what will come tomorrow? How many people knew pandemic was coming? We don't know what the next crisis will be. So certain stimulus we can't even control. They are out of our control. They are present everywhere. Now, A is your attitude. Your attitude. Attitude is determined by your belief, what you have experienced in life. Now, F and E are your feelings and emotions. Don't worry, I will give you the link I will tell you why I want us to focus on this. F and E are your feelings and emotions. T are your thoughts. B, behavior. O, outcomes. Did everybody get it? Now, listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. When you encounter a stimulus, a trigger, you don't just react. No. Remember the scenarios I asked and the questions I asked. Why are some people able to remain calm and some people lose it when they are exposed to the same stimulus? When you encounter a stimulus or a trigger, you do not just react. There are a series of unconscious processes that take place so very fast, you do not know. You first develop an attitude around it. That attitude, your brain filters, it's called a mental filtering. You give meaning to that thing that has happened. The attitude you give depends on the meaning you read into it. Somebody says you are stupid. Oh, I am really stupid. She's always saying that. That is an attitude you have developed. Some other person can say you are stupid to a different person. That person says, ha ha ha, look at her. It's not even about me. Maybe there's something wrong with her. So your interpretation of that event affects how you feel. The person who personalizes it, it affects your feelings and your emotions. All of these things are taking place unconsciously in split seconds. The feelings and emotions now affect your thoughts. And your thoughts determine the behavior that you take in reaction to that stimulus. And definitely your outcomes will be determined by the behavior. So if the attitude in the first place was a negative one, guess what? It spirals down. So negative feelings and emotions, sadness, sorrow, misery, embarrassment, fear, dread, despair, hopelessness. The feelings and emotions trigger thoughts. I will never make it. I am done for. I am stupid. I'm not good enough. Who says you are not good enough? Where's the evidence? The negative thoughts now cause you to do certain behaviors. Either you shout back, you fight back, you withdraw, but it will be a negative behavior. A negative thought cannot lead to a positive behavior. And definitely it now spirals down to a negative outcome. Even on the flip side, the attitude is a positive one. It spirals down to a positive feeling and emotions. Positive thoughts, positive behavior patterns, and positive outcomes. So the lady who caught her husband in bed, obviously her attitude was, hey, yeah, look at this one who cannot control himself. It's pity. She must have interpreted that event in a way that it wasn't about her, it was about the husband. She pitied the husband. Look at this loser. Look at this one. So because she was able to take it outside of herself, she could feel pity for him. And so because she could feel empathy for him, her thought was, say, he needs help. He cannot control himself. He doesn't have the Spirit of God. I can pray for him. I can help him. I can help him get out of this. It's not about me. There's nothing wrong with me. It's all about him, so I can help him. It is the same event that people have walked into. They carried guns, shot the man, shot the side chick, some shooting themselves. Others going outside to even shoot the gate man for allowing the side chick, opening cupboards to shoot all the cockroaches for being witnesses. But the person who chases after her husband, because she sights the side chick in this thing, see what he's doing to me? Maybe so because I've grown fat. So that's why he's doing this to me. He's always cheating. And then you begin to feel I'm not good enough. I'm going to. Do you see the link? You want to change the outcomes of your life. Attitude, mindset, thoughts. He already told you, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And I'm going to give you strategies that will help you tweak your mindset. So get ready for a mindset shift and a mindset reset. The problem a lot of us are having is that we are so focused on stimulus. We are looking at stimulus like this. We are looking at that queue in the filling station. We are looking at, people even know, before the dollar even goes up, some people have even known how much the dollar will go. We are micromanaging and following stimulus. You open social media, one news, bad, take a social media diet. A lot of us are so glued to stimulus. And in psychology, there's a concept we call selective attention. What you focus on magnifies. You focus on the problem, it magnifies. It becomes larger than life until it consumes you. And you know the problem with that. Because it magnifies, you are blind to every other thing, to possible solutions to the problems. Never forget that. The human brain prefers to focus on bad news. Why do you think bad news spreads so fast? That accident of side chick and all of that. Did you see how many times, how long it's trended in social media? Why don't we see they promoted somebody and it keeps trending on social media? It's the bad news because the human brain, prefers to focus on what could go wrong. And by humans, we are prone to false attribution. We are prone to, exaggerations. We are prone to what they call cognitive distortions. What are cognitive distortions? Is when the brain lies to you. It makes you believe what is not true. There are a number of them. Personalization. It's about me. It's my fault. You have a friend, a choir member who always comes and says hello. The day she doesn't greet you, you start, hey, what have I done again? Your mind now goes back. Is it that day? Maybe it's that thing. Did I tell somebody? Maybe it's that thing I told Funke that Funke went and told Runke. Runke went and told Mary. Mary now went and came and told her. Yeah, something like that has happened there. Okay. It's personalization. What about the person didn't see you? What if the person was having a bad day? What if the person's mind was preoccupied? So certain people are prone to personalization. And all of these things will affect our mental health. Some, it is magnification, catastrophizing. Hey, have you heard what has happened? And then by the time they repeat it, they blow it out of proportion. Do you know that some people are very good at that? That is their ministry. Ministry of catastrophizing. Ministry of magnification. Something happened in church. Have you seen? A single event happens. They're always doing this thing. What are they always doing? How many times have they done it? This church, why are they always doing this? Pastor will now come again and come and say, that's why he said the other day. He said it only once, so it now becomes a recurring pattern. How about minimization? They pay you a compliment. Some of us are very good at that. We downplay it. That one, I'm guilty of that one. Somebody was telling me the other day, I didn't know about all your teachings and all of that. So you do this, you do that, you do that. I was so embarrassed. I said, hey, I didn't know, don't blow it now, don't let people know. She was naming all the things that I do. Sir, you know some of the things that I do. You write, you speak, you teach, you train, and this thing. Instead of me to say, oh, thank you, I was so embarrassed that she was saying it. So some of us minimize. They pay you a compliment. Oh, your cloth is beautiful. This cheap cloth, I just bought it from Bendano. How many of us are guilty? Ladies, your hair is lovely. It has been long I did it too. I did it. It has been long I did it. I did it, Balek. I said, oh, your hair, you mean it's still nice? I did it 6 months ago. I did it 6 months. I'm telling you the ways you are undermining yourself. There are so many cognitive. This session is not about cognitive distortions, but maybe one day there's blaming and denying. Anything that is happening to you is not your fault. It's that person's fault. It's because of that person. It's because of your father that died 20 years ago. Can we let his soul rest in peace? That man, that husband that did one thing. So life won't go on again. There's always, I'm always right. This one is the cause of problem in marriages. It's a cognitive distortion. And forgive me, Pastor, but men are guilty of this. I'm always right. Somebody who suffers from the cognitive distortion of I'm always right, will go to any point to prove that he's right. He doesn't see, it doesn't matter whether earth will fall. He must show that he's right. It's a cognitive distortion. Maybe one day, Pastor will talk about, maybe marriage session, we'll talk about how cognitive distortions are messing up marriages. See, let me tell you something. Another person's point of view, is the point of view that you are not there at that point in time. It doesn't mean that it is wrong. You simply are not just there at that point in time. We all view things differently. Let me not stray from the message of, are we getting something? So I want us to do an exercise. Just check yourself. It's called check yourself before we go to cognitive, how we can begin to arrange some of these things that are, how we can shift the focus. How we can shift the focus from stimulus and optimize our mind. I'd like us to do an exercise. But before we do that exercise, I want to tell you that as human beings, I want to tell you some of the things that happen to us, why things seem blown out of proportion. I've often talked about how we hold biases. I've talked about cognitive distortions and cognitive distortions and how the brain focuses on negative things. There is another thing, our personality type, the way we are wired. The way we are wired. It's another source of our problem. So our personality type affects the way we view things. The big traits, there's a personality type personality trait that they use, factor, for describing people's traits. It's called the Big Five. Ocean. Openness to experience. Certain people are flexible, they are open to experience. Certain people, it's like their eyes are closed. They don't see the future. They don't see the bright side. They're so closed. Those kind of people will be suffering now. But those who are open to experience will be seeing solutions and possibilities. It's not your fault, it's the way you were wired. You just have to find strategies to optimize yourself. The other one is C, conscientiousness, but that's not the one I want to focus on. E is extroversion. A is agreeableness. The one I want to talk about is neuroticism. People who score high in neuroticism, they have a high tendency to experience negative emotions. Irritability, fear, dread. Certain people have a high score. I know somebody, she fears virtually anything. So your personality type is the way you're wired. I want you to do another exercise. Take a sheet of paper and just write your name with one hand. I'm telling us all of the things that cause us stress in life. Write your name with one hand. Now, change to the other hand and write your name. Okay, tell me about your experience the first time. Huh? Everybody talking, is somebody say? He first said, did you see how he reacted? He said,
the first hand was actually okay. The second one was horrible.
Okay, use words to describe it. We learned about adjectives. Use adjectives to describe the first one. Easy.
The first one was easy. The second one wasn't easy.
More adjectives. The writing was clear. Foul scratch writing. One was comfortable. Okay, you want to say something? Go ahead.
The first one, the handwriting, very beautiful. But the
Beautiful.
second one is just
Foul scratch, jaga jaga. Why about comfortable? One was uncomfortable. How about fast and slow? One was fast, one was slow. That's about your personality type. We are all wired differently. Some people are extroverted, some people are introverted. So across 4 dimensions, that's another way of classifying personality. The second one is how you make decisions. Some people are so rational. A must be A, B must be B. You came late, I don't care what happened. The flip side, the other people those are the thinkers. The other one are the feelers. They factor in people. We are not doing PowerPoint slides you would have seen. The thinkers, they step outside people to make their decision. They don't care what's going on. That's another cause of problems in marriage. The feelers, they enter into people. Oh, her child was sick. So let's cut her some slack. The third dimension is how you live your life in the outer world. Some people are so detailed, conscious, straight. You see the diagram straight like this. Those ones, before they do anything, they must plan, they must calculate, budget. You spend 5 naira outside. We agree that the housekeeping will be 10 naira. You spend 5 naira outside housekeeping. It's the way they were wired. It doesn't mean that they are wicked or stingy. Somebody's laughing at the back. The other people, their own diagram is like this. Hip-hop rate, they are flexible. They want to travel to the airport. The judging people, they can't uproot now. They will buy tickets. They will calculate how much is the ticket. Then they will buy the ticket. Then they will plan how much they will spend. Meanwhile, the perceivers, who are the flexi people, they've reached airport. They boarded plane. They have gone. These ones will calculate, okay, is there fuel in the car? Who will take us to the airport? Okay, when the person drops us at the airport, how will they come and park the car? They're so detailed conscious. So you have a husband and a wife who is a judger. One is a judger and one is a perceiver. I'm saying about marriage because marriage is a huge cause, relationships, of mental health issues. So prepare. Those of you who have not married, prepare. That's one environment that, one day when we're in Lagos, we're in Dolphin, one woman ran out naked into the street. Her husband was in the car. He was pursuing her. There was a young lady inside the car. I don't know what she has caught, what she has seen. I don't know. But we're just driving back. Stark naked, a middle-aged woman. So our personality types, everything is understanding. If I understand that you are a judger and I'm a perceiver, I will cut you some slack now. Please understand me. Don't try to. Please understand me. This is how I am wired. Let's find. Can we find common ways? Can we find common grounds on how we can work together? Please understand me. Don't criticize me. Don't put me down. Help me to strategize myself. Help me to work on myself so that we can find common ground. Please understand me. Okay? So, all of those things are the things that affect our mental health. Now, there are 2 cells in the base of your brain. They are called the amygdala. Amygdala cells. They are at the back of your brain. These are part of the limbic brain that control your emotions. They are responsible for flight, fight, controlling your emotions, and all of that. Then you have the frontal lobes at the front, part of the cerebral cortex. This frontal lobe is what is responsible for decision-making, cognition, cognitive processes, and all of those big things, grammar, and all of that. Now, the amygdala is supposed to regulate your emotions. It regulates your emotions. Flight and fight, you see something, if you want to flight, you want to do this, but the frontal lobes comes to calm me down. Say, guy, my amygdala, cool down. Let's think rationally. Sort of exchanging blows. Can we find how we can this thing? But something happens under extreme emotions. When the threat is so high, when the fire is burning, when the challenges is so short, it's so strong. As the amygdala jumps in, the frontal lobes tries to calm it down. The amygdala hijacks the frontal lobes. It disables it. If you're not able to pause and control your emotion, it disables it. At that time, rational thinking, decision making is disabled. Completely disabled. That's what you call an amygdala hijack. And that's why you see people when they are like this, they are shouting. And you tell the man, stop shouting, and he's even shouting like that. Am I shouting? Am I shouting? Ability to recall, rationalize, and think rationally has been disabled. His amygdala has hijacked him. That's what happens in a lot of times, why we experience and consistently experiencing an amygdala hijack will lead to mental health issues. Mental health issues. Okay. Enough of the problem. How do we find the solution? That is the big question now. How do we find the solution? But before that, I want you to just do a self-awareness check before we go to social, so that you know where to categorize. You know yourself. You know where to categorize yourself, and you know how, when we begin to talk about it, you know where you need to make improvement on. So I want us to do a brief self-awareness exercise. You can raise your hand if you want to, if it occurs to you, or you can just simply note yourself down. So depending on whether this thing applies to you, just simply write yes or no. Or if you want to raise your hand, if you are not too shy. But as I also tell people, being vulnerable. I'm not afraid to be vulnerable. I tell people in my sessions of how I used to struggle with low self-esteem, fear and all of that. Because I believe it helps them. But when I come and say, yes, since God delivered me, my confidence has been, from my mother's womb, my confidence has been at an all high. I've been speaking and teaching and preaching since they gave birth to me. Some people do it. But I'm not afraid to say that at some point in my life, I was over 100 kg. I lacked self-confidence, and I struggled with fear. I'm not afraid to say it. So here's what I'd like you to do. If any of these sentences I say occur to you, note it down so that you begin to know where your issues lie. I am prone to heavy self-criticism and dissatisfaction in life. I am very sensitive to criticism. Even when it's a feedback to help me, I am very hypersensitive. I exaggerate my mistakes. I am a chronic, indecisive person. I can't seem to make up my mind. I'm telling you all of this because these are the things that are causing you the mental health issues. Nobody's raising hand. All of you are glorious. Glorious in holiness. No, I'm saying if it applies to you, raise your hand. If you're not ashamed, I only gave the writing yes or no to give an escape route for those who are not. But if it occurs to you, raise your hand. I thought all of us were glorious in holiness and fearful in praise. Sorry. Okay. Excessive desire to please other people. People pleasers. Perfectionist. OCD. Obsessive compulsive disorder. Obsessive compulsive. Those who check door 5 times. You have locked the door before. You are a perfectionist. You must recheck and recheck and recheck. Those are the things that are causing. Okay. Always casting your mind at dwelling on the past. And in guilt. I should have. I may have. If I didn't do it, if she didn't, I should have. You cannot open a new chapter of your life if you keep rereading the old one. Close the chapter and move on and turn a new page. Pessimism. These ones, they don't see anything good at all. Are you sure it will work? I don't think it will work. Oh. No. It won't work now. That's what they call failure on arrival. Envy. Let's not hide now. How about? Sometimes. See, envy has been shown to be a non-diagnostic mental health issue. And there's therapy for it. If you can go to a therapist and say, I'm sorry, I feel depressed. Why can't you go to a therapist and say, I'm sorry, I'm envious. So I feel she's laughing. But of course, you get people are envy. Oh my goodness, Pastor Yemi, where are you in the moon? Envy. It's a big problem. It's a big problem. In psychology, they've already realized that it's a non-diagnosed mental health. Yes, it's an issue. Yes, and cured by therapy. So the same way you go to your therapist, please help me. I'm having relationship problems. Say, please, I'm having problems with envy. And it helps you walk. So it begins to check what are the issues. I'm telling you seriously. It's a CBT, cognitive behavioral. He will tell you maybe the envy is arising from the fact that you don't feel good enough. You are comparing yourself. So it will help you walk through it and make you see good things about yourself. Make you see that you have no reason to compare because that person is on his own journey. Give you coping skills. Give you clarity about your own life journey. That's how you get helped with envy. Sees temporary setback as permanent, intolerable conditions. Okay. All right. Now, if these kinds of words, sentences, the next one, I'm going to read sentences, and if these are beliefs that cross our mind, we don't say these ones out, but we just think them. Nothing good ever happens to me. People are always unfair to me. I'm not a likable person. Who said that? Call your own name. Call your own self. It's my fault always. I don't think I'm good enough. Nobody likes me. Why is this always happening to me? What is always happening to you? It happened once or twice. What is always happening to you? You have only lived 20 years or 30 years. The Bible says the number of your years shall be how many? So there's 40 years ahead of you that you have not lived to. So why will you conclude that it is always happening to you? Do you know when the tides will turn? God's ability to turn the tides is beyond human comprehension. So you have only lived 30 years and you say it's always happening to you. What about the 50 that are ahead of you? Why is everybody always doing this? Do you know how many people, billion people are in the world? You've only seen maybe you've only encountered about 100 or 100,000 in your space, and you see everybody's always doing about it. What about all the other billions of people? Have you met them? Have you met the people in other continents? So how then can you conclude that it is always happening to you, or everybody is always doing it to you? These are just, I'm such a failure. I deserve what I get. I know it won't turn out well. Why should I bother? Then you have some that are such perfectionists. I must do well at all times. I must do it. They are competitive in spirit. And those can also cause you stress because when you don't do well, then you just conclude. It affects your ego. These are narcissistic people. Narcissism, a personality disorder as well. I must do well at all times. It's about me. It's about them. They did not announce my name well. Ego, they begin to, they did not celebrate me. They did not. So those are all of the things that are causing us. In addition to everything that is happening, all of this is causing us stress. How many minutes do I have? We want to enter strategies now. Now, we want to enter. So we have seen all of these things. And then write your own triggers as well. I may not have mentioned your own trigger. Write it down. So that when you go home, you will do assignment. You will check yourself where. What is your own personal trigger in your environment, in your business? High cost of living, your unreasonable boss. Talked about boss shouting at you. The workplace can cause unreasonable colleagues. Demanding workload. Emails. This digitalization has caused more problems. Work, email. My daughter entered a new school. Every day we get emails. I said, I'm paying for you to look after my child. Stop sending me emails. You are giving me another work. Emails. Unreasonable colleagues. Demanding boss. Hostile work environments. Toxic environments. Let's not run away from the church. Bigger churches, there's plenty. There's plenty of toxicity. So, write your own down. Where your own trigger is. What is your own trigger? Okay, now let's go into how can we now manage our mental health? Whilst we are pursuing our business, going to work, living our lives, I want to begin to give you tools now and strategies. Mindset optimization strategies. We have seen that focusing on stimulus and trigger will not help us. Not everybody can japa. Or jakpa. Even those that are jakpaing are jakpaing back. By the time you jakpa, you don't have a house. You sleep or you scrub dead body or you. Can you see the kind of things that they do there? Just give them 1 year, 2 years. You will see all of them jakpaing back inside. So don't even disturb yourself. If everybody has jakpa from your environment and remaining only you, enjoy the compound. One day you'll be there, they will come back. See, the grass is only greener on the other side because the man at the other side is watering the grass. If the man on the other side is not watering his grass will be like your own. So you stay in your own side and water your grass. Simple. Simple. Now, mindset optimization strategies. Reframing, number one, reframing. Reframing is the ability to think of a negative situation in a more positive way to aid problem solving. Now, I need you to hold on to the sound of my voice. The next few sentences I'm going to make, I need you to listen very carefully. Nothing means anything except the meaning that you give to it. And the meaning that you give to it is not the only meaning. Options are always available. The same glass that is half empty can also be half full. Change your perspective. Get into the zone of reframing your existence. Reframe it in such a way that it aids your mental well-being. The woman who saw her husband in bed reframed that experience in a way that enhanced her optimum functioning at that point in time. The one who catches her husband in bed and brings out a gun and shoots it reframes that experience in a way that leads to personal decline. If you forget anything else, don't forget the fact that I said, nothing means anything except the meaning that you give to it. The meaning that you give to it is not the only meaning. Options are always available. Get into the zone of questioning your assumptions when you feel mentally stressed. Ask yourself, why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling? What am I assuming? The lady who is in her late 30s that assumes that she's unhappy because she's not married. Are you assuming that all married people are happy? Where is the evidence? Because the evidence shows that not all married people are happy. So why will you be unhappy because you are not married? Question your assumption. Look for the evidence. And then reframe your existence. Reframing is a strategy I use all the time. People do not get you angry. They just do what they are wired to do. That husband is not wicked. He's just playing his script. That mother-in-law is not a witch. She's just living her script. You reframe it in a way that it doesn't affect you. Depart from the zone of personalization. Enhance your mental well-being inside. Reframe your existence. In the midst of all the chaos that is happening, do you know that people are prospering? Remove your focus from stimulus. Focus on a possibility. It will enlarge. The answer may not be available today, but trust me, it will come. For years, I pursued doing corporate training for corporate organizations. For years, I fixed my focus. I said, this one, we will do it. The people who are teaching corporations do not have 10 heads. With my degree, 2 master's degree in psychology from the UK, I will train corporations in Nigeria. And I'm doing it now. Is it not still the same, this thing? See, guys, optimize your mind. Optimize your skills. What do you know how to do well? Polish it. Polish yourself. Show up powerfully. And the world will bow for you. The problem is that, particularly as young people, we are too interested in dwelling in mediocrity zone. Get into the zone of excellence. Stand up for something and be known for something. Am I shifting away from this thing? Okay. You want to change your outcomes? Look at your thoughts. Change your attitude. How else? Ask yourself, how else can I interpret this thing that is going on in a way that will enhance my mental well-being? What am I not seeing? See, navigating that business challenge is doable. You see this Nigeria, Koro, we're there here. We will find a way around it. We will find a way around it. Exceeding that target is not difficult. You just have to find a new way of doing it. Choose your own meaning. Choose your own meaning. Don't use the meaning other people are giving to it. There are many ways of being a business. I'm sure you talked about business. If I cannot own my business, can I be a middleman for somebody who owns business? Can I connect buyers to sellers? There's a guy who was in a class. He said they wanted to do a cake. for their professor. And one classmate said, I can do the cake, I can do the cake. And this guy was saying, this woman doesn't bake cake. Oh. You know, simply what she was doing. She was connecting buyer to seller. Options are always available. Change your meaning. They say slim people are this. Reframe it in such a way that slim people will be the way to go. They say fat people are this. Reframe your own in a way that enhances your well-being. Who says that the one that they said is the right one? Is there a dictionary of life that gives us all those things that we chose? So reframe your existence. See, when God says, these things have I spoken to you, that you may have peace. In the world, you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer. As I said, peace is an attitude. The heart is a bucket of ideas, but it cannot innovate outside of peace. So in the midst of this chaos and that is going on, you have a responsibility to guard your heart with peace so that you will see solution. If your heart is troubled and all of that, that's why God says, and when you pray, be anxious and the peace of God that surpasses all human understanding. That's why he didn't say, and you will get answers. The answer is inside of you, but peace must come first. The mind can only innovate in an attitude of peace, and that peace is an attitude. Okay, number 2 strategy, visualization. Visualization. Everything in life, this is the principle of visualization. Everything in life is created twice. First in the spirit, and then in the physical, in the reality. Everything you see was first conceived in the mind of somebody. Years ago, long before I began to do what I now do, speaking, teaching, and everything that I do that has taken me where I've gone. I was sharing with you just a few moments ago. I used to suffer from chronic low self-esteem. I used to be extremely introverted. And I used to suffer from fear that was so bad, sometimes I wouldn't leave my house. And then I was overweight. One day, several years ago, I caught a picture. I don't even know how that picture. I caught a picture of myself, of a woman, a slim lady, fairly put together lady, standing before a crowd and teaching people. The funniest thing at that point in time was that picture was very different from my reality. In reality, I was this shy person who didn't know what my purpose was. But my brain had caught the picture, and my body began to move towards it. The brain is a pattern matching organ. What it visualizes, it wills your body to do. It creates a hunger for you. I began to hunger for personal development. That's when I did my first master's. I did the second master's. I went into a weight loss program. It creates a hunger in you. That hunger serves as a motivation. And that's why you see some people keep going. No matter what challenges, what obstacles they go, they've caught a picture of where they are going. When God was telling the children of Israelites, he says, the land I'm taking you to is a land that is flowing with milk and honey. It's a good land. What do you think he was doing? Visualization, envision. He knew there were going to be giants in that land. And he knew that they may be discouraged. So he was allowing them to catch a vision of where they were going to. I've come to realize that a lot of the strategies and techniques that we teach in psychology are biblical principles. I'm beginning to think that the grandfathers of psychology were Christians. And they got some of these things by divine intervention. I have always believed that. Exposure technique is a technique in psychology that is used to treat people with phobia, certain kinds of phobia. How does it work? You expose the individual to that phobia. So, for instance, the person has a fear of flying. The therapist enters into the aircraft, sitting beside the person with the fear of flying, and the person flies to and fro, with the psychologist right beside him. I know I have read my Bible, Psalm 23, and it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are there with me, your rod and your staff comforts me. That's exposure technique. That's exposure technique. So, where Where do you want to go? In the midst of all of this that is happening, what are you seeing? Where are you going? Visualize. Get into the zone of visualize. Shift your focus from stimulus. People are making it. Never forget that everything in life is created twice. Visualization is a strategy. I visualize my sessions before I teach. I visualize my sessions before I preach. I visualize how I want you to feel. I visualize everything before I stand. There is a deep tendency to become what your mind pictures, provided you hold that mental picture strongly enough and the objective is sound. You will become it. Visualization breeds expectation. And when you expect the best, you release a magnetic force in your mind that attracts the best to you. It enables you to focus on a future realization. This expectation then supplies fuel to your body. Sustained expectation of the best sets in motion forces which causes the best to materialize. The brain is a pattern matching organ. It scans and scans and scans and scans and brings to your reality what you have visualized. Visualization can work for you, can work against you. Visualize the worst, your brain brings the worst to your reality. Visualize the best, your brain brings the best to your reality. Never forget, the brain is a pattern matching organ. So visualize yourself navigating all of these chaotic things we have in this country. Visualize yourself. What business do you want? Visualize it. Visualize yourself pushing beyond the limitations. You can visualize just about anything. It's a strategy. All these world-renowned coaches, Tony Robbins and all of them, that's what they use for their clients. You see that thing that Tiger Woods does? He's not performing magic. He does like this. He will do like this. He will come like this. He will look like this. He's visualizing where his golf ball will go to when he plays it. He's not performing magic. It's not by magic. Okay. Number 3, emotional intelligence. You talked about that. It's the ability to make. So we have talked about how your personality has weak sides and strong points. So emotional intelligence is the glue that helps you make the most of your personality so that you can function optimally. Now, emotional intelligence is not a single construct. There are different aspects. There's self-regard, regard for other people, self-awareness, awareness for other people, self-regulation and relationship regulation. But self-regard is like the foundation for emotional intelligence because it affects everything, every other skills. Self-regard is the unconditional acceptance of yourself. The degree to which you accept and value yourself. It is different from self-esteem. Self-esteem, we value ourselves because of what we have. Self-regard is the unconditional acceptance of yourself. If you accept yourself well, you are likely to believe that you can cope well. If you accept yourself well, you are likely to pay attention to your needs and goals to meet those needs. If you accept yourself well, you'll be flexible. You'll be able to adapt to changes. You will believe that this one, I will navigate it. If you accept yourself well, your confidence and belief in your capability will be greater. If you accept yourself unconditionally, even your ability to relate with people, to make meaningful connections and network, which is so important in this economy that we are, will be higher. If you accept yourself, you will live an authentic life. You will not fake it to make it until your makeup becomes your breakup. If you accept yourself well, you will live a balanced life, a balanced outlook to life. You'll be optimistic. If you accept yourself well, you'll be able to handle conflicts without being aggressive. You will handle conflicts assertively. So get into the zone of increasing your self-regard. How do you do that? The exercise I did just now. Validate yourself. Look after yourself. Become more self-aware. Practice being grateful. Connect with other people. Number 4 strategy, the power of focus. I already talked about this. Selective attention. What you focus on magnifies. You focus on the negative, it magnifies. You focus on the positive, it magnifies. Have you not noticed that when you dislike somebody, and you keep focusing on that dislike, after a while, everything about that person begins to irritate you? This is particularly key for married women. When a woman is critical or keeps holding on to a husband's weakness, eventually, even the good things about that husband will become an irritation to her. Michal, David's wife, she harbored resentment so that even when David was praising God, it became an irritation to her. How can anybody be irritated because somebody is praising and dancing before God? When a woman holds a resentment about her husband, or about any other person, particularly those who are close to you, after a while, everything about them, even the good ones, begin to irritate you. The power of focus, never, 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 never underestimate it. It's another strategy that I use. I was traveling to Lagos for a speaking, for a meeting, a speaking conference and a meeting. And I knew I was going to be alone in the hotel. So I had the speaking conference, but I had a meeting with a corporate client, and I wanted to wear a white shirt buttoned down. I had this white shirt, tiny, tiny buttons buttoned down. Here, down, here, down. And I knew I was going to be alone in the hotel. And I said, okay, how will you be able to button all of these tiny buttons and make it on time for your meeting? But I really wanted to wear that shirt. So I took it. That morning I got up. You know what I did? I focused intently on the buttons, blocking my mind from every distraction and noise. I did like this, and I began to button. Within 5-10 minutes, I buttoned everything. I blocked my brain from everything. I put my eyes on the buttons, and I said to, okay, you will button this. You will button this. You will button this. I buttoned this. I buttoned this. I buttoned this down. So these are strategies, that are simple, practical things that I'm not telling you. I don't want to go into big psychology and telling you, you have to do this, you have to do this. I'm telling you practical tools that will enhance your mental well-being, that you can begin to practice even from today as you live your life. That's the way I have fashioned this session to be. I could have come here to blow big grammar. Number 5, the power of the sense of humor. Are you able to see the funny sides of things? Are you able to laugh at yourself and not take yourself too seriously all the time? It is therapeutic. I'm going to be rushing over some. The power of social support. Who are you surrounding yourself with in all of this? Do you have a supportive community? Do you support yourself with people who affirm you? Who speak positively to you, speak life into you? Or people who display negativism? If you surround yourself with negative people, they will drain your hero capital. What is hero capital? H, hope. E, efficacy. R, resilience. O, optimism. And before you know it, you will just be a dried plant. When you surround yourself with positive people, your hero capital, psychological capital, psychological hero capital will increase. You become a more hopeful person, a more resilient person, a more optimistic person, and a more efficient person. So get into the zone of evaluating the people you surround yourself with. You can say hello to everybody. Not everybody has to be in your inner circle. Who are your top 3 people? Who are your disciples, 12? The power of positive affirmation. We already talked a lot about that. Never underestimate your ability to talk yourself up. How many of us watched the match between Naomi Osaka and Serena Williams several years ago? Naomi Osaka was that new tennis player who won Serena Williams. You will notice this time she scored, she will do like this. She will do like this. She was talking herself up. She went on to win that match. Serena Williams, she won her. So the power of positive affirmation. The power of gratitude. We talked about gratitude, so I wouldn't talk about that. The power of exercise. Exercise is not just for Weight Watchers. It has a tremendous effect on your mental health. Because when you exercise, you release a hormone called the feel-good hormone. In short, there are 4 hormones that are called feel-good hormones. Endorphins, dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. When you exercise, you release endorphins. When people praise you, the brain releases dopamine. So these are neurotransmitters. These are natural neurotransmitters that make you feel good. So why would you want to take substance? Why would you want to take alcohol? Why would you want to take drugs when you have natural neurotransmitters? Okay? The power of prayers. I guess you were waiting for me to come there. Prayer connects you to a higher force. It gives you confidence. It gives you clarity. It builds your resilience. It gives you hope. It gives you faith. It strengthens you. It motivates you. You must stay connected. In short, I was having a discussion with a man, and he says, I don't know how Christians are surviving these times. So these people don't have relationship with Jesus Christ. How are they coping these times? The power of prayers. The power of speaking in tongues. I bet you may never really have considered this, but listen. As a child of God, you have the capability to dwell in two realms. The physical realm and the spiritual realm. Yes. Every locality is known by the language that they speak. If I go to a place and I'm hearing Yayae, Senu, Yayae, Kibegida, I will know that word. I'm in the northern region. If I hear Pastor Yemi, Mbati, I will know I'm in Echo. So, speaking in tongues, the spiritual language. You want to get catapulted into the spirit? Speak in tongues. It's a strategy I use all the time. When I feel stressed, I switch over. I've left you people here. Before you know it, you begin to feel light. Tears begin to roll from your eyes. I've left the physical realm. I've reached another place. It's a strategy I use when I feel stressed. I start by positive affirmation, and then I begin to blast in tongues. I begin to malibo sakarabosha. And what I'm doing like this. So. It's like I'm rationalizing in the spirit. Rebo seke bashika raboske dere. Zakabashuka rakosko zokobolika leboska. Zigababashe. Jigabasoso rebo. I am using all this. I am focusing. I've left you people here. So it's a strategy you must deploy in these times. You just must deploy it. The option of therapy. I heard somebody talk about therapy. Therapy is available. Do not suffer in silence. I'm talking about seeking professional help, speaking to a psychotherapist, speaking to a certified mental health counselor. Therapy helps you. If all these things we've talked about, if you're not able to reframe your existence, therapy will help you. We help you see things from a different point of view. We help you find out what is good about you. We help you set goals. We help you navigate. We help you see the other side of things. We help you build yourself. There's a lady I counseled whose husband was dealing with her. The guy was a chronic cheat and was making it like her fault. When she catches all those incriminating phones in his phone or some other thing, he will turn it around and start like it was her fault. She would not be the one apologizing. So I had sessions and sessions with her. She was suffering from massive low self-esteem. At the end of the session, she said, God, I've never looked at myself like this. I've never seen myself this way. So therapy helps you. The recovery from trauma starts with sharing. So don't suffer in silence. Don't be like the people of Laish in the book of Judges. The Bible says that the people of Laish, they dwelt alone. They were close to the Sidonites, but they had no tie with the Sidonites. And so when, I don't know, was it a certain people were looking for a land to settle in. Yes. So the people of Laish was easy sell. They came, they burnt everything, they took over. And the Bible says nobody was there to help them. Don't suffer in silence. Help is always available. Don't let pride or ego or whatever it is make you to suffer. Speak up. Healing starts with sharing. So get into the zone of speaking up. The power of your life's purpose. Purpose is who you were created for. Purpose is essential to your self-esteem. Purpose gives meaning to your existence. Purpose helps you build different kinds of streams of income. Through my purpose, I teach, I write books, I preach, I do different things. Purpose helps you live an authentic life. Purpose helps you so much build a legacy, serve other people. And guess what? On the last day, you will give an account. So find your purpose. I'm concluding now. All of these things I've said, managing your mental health, pick 3 or 4 strategies that you can begin to use immediately. My time is up. Yes, I'm rounding up. Take responsibility for your life. How many minutes do I have? Minutes more. I have 25 minutes with questions, Abby. Okay, I'm in 10 minutes. I've left you people here. I've gone to spiritual world. Managing your mental health while pursuing a successful business or career entails that you take responsibility. You must. Nobody will do it for you. Pastor will not. Even for husband and wife, the husband has to take, the wife has to take some responsibility. The times are tough. Get out of the goalpost and get into the midfield of your life and play. What are you doing in the goalpost, catching goals? Get into the midfield. You have a spirit of excellence. You are advantaged. You have a Father who is in heaven. You have the Holy Spirit giving you ideas. So what are we talking about? Look at that thing in the face and say, me and you, I will defeat you. It starts with the mind. You never forget, everything in life is created twice. Own up to your mistakes, but don't let them stop you. Don't be afraid of being vulnerable. Get an accountability partner. Share with somebody. Love yourself. Oh, I cannot say that enough. Self-love is not selfish. If you do not love yourself, you won't have enough to give to other people. Me, after everything I must have my me time. My me time, that one, nobody comes into that space. It's me and Jesus. So I must have. Know yourself. Be very intentional about what you focus on. Social media. Which social media handle makes you feel less than? Delete it. Unfollow it. See, go back and do a diet of social media. Audit your focus. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What am I focusing on that is making me feel this way? That is making me lose my confidence. And whatever it is, do away with it. Be an observer of your life. Be a controller of your life. A thermostat. Be a thermometer. Sorry, be a thermostat, not a thermometer. A thermometer fluctuates up and down. Fuel price goes up. Hey. Fuel price comes down. Ha. Be a thermostat. So whether anything is going up and going down, going down, going up and going down, you are static, you are stable. Your mental health is sound. Be very selective of who you allow permit into your space. There are 3 categories of people you should never allow. PhDs, don't allow them. Not doctors who pull him down, pull her down. Don't allow them to come near your space. Miserable sympathizers. These ones, you tell them I want to do this, they will say, hey, why are you troubling yourself now? Will it work? They are called miserable sympathizers because they mean well for you, but they are not helping you. So they are your sympathizers, but they are miserable sympathizers. Toxic people, people who emit negativism. I've already said that. Do not wait for people to apologize to you. You may be waiting for a long time. Supposing they don't apologize to you, are you saying you won't feel well? So stop waiting for apologies. Move on. Move on. Move on. Know when to assert yourself. Know when to keep silence. The Bible says, do not answer a fool according to his folly, lest you be like him. In the very next verse, what does he say? Answer a fool according to his folly. So know when to speak and know when to answer a fool and know when not to answer a fool. Never compare yourself with anybody. It's a losing strategy for happiness. Life is a journey. We are all in our own different place. So why will you compare? Why will you compare yourself? Apostle Paul says, comparing themselves with themselves, they are not wise. Guide your heart with all diligence. Remember, the battle is always first lost in the mind. So guide your heart. Lastly, never ever give up, irrespective of what life is throwing at you. Keep becoming, irrespective of the hindrances. There is a next level waiting for you on the other side of this, everything that is going on. Just know that someday soon, there's a next level you will get there. Keep taking small steps, even if they are small steps, because as you take one small step, it becomes a springboard for you to take the next step. So even if you don't see far ahead, just do what is in front of you. That becomes a springboard to going ahead. And in closing, remember that nothing means anything except the meaning that you give to it. No matter how chaotic life gets, when things fall apart, remember this. When things fall apart, something new can rise up in its place. Collapse does not only mean devastation, it can also mean new beginnings. When they are breaking down a building, you don't know what is going on. You see a building that is broken down, you say, hey, this building has collapsed. No, it may be because they want to erect something new. So remember that collapse does not only mean devastation, it can also mean new beginnings. Life is a lively process of becoming. So, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy every minute of your life. Be happy now, despite the jagba in Nigeria. Be happy tomorrow. Don't wait for something or somebody outside of yourself to make you happy. Think how precious the time you have to spend on earth is. And then enjoy every minute of it. And God bless you. I tried. I kept to the time. I kept to the time. Okay, okay.
Questions and contributions. Okay, sorry.
So, Ma, you talked about reframing. I, I think I try to reframe sometimes, but I find myself in denial. Like, this thing is paining me, but I don't want to give it my attention. But as I'm not giving it my attention, I still feel the pain. I'm trying to like create peace with my situation and be the bigger person. But sometimes I feel that pain that comes after. I can go to another person to vent, but it doesn't make me feel as
Better.
good. Yes. How do you deal with that?
So first of all, reframing is not living in self-denial. It's not denying that the thing that has happened. No, it is accepting it whole, you accept this thing that has happened. Eh? So you don't push it aside. You accept that this thing has happened. Okay. But how else, what other way can I look at this? What have I learned from this thing that has happened? There's always something you have learned. This person, this best friend did you. So I've learned that, oh, next time I must be cautious when dealing with people. So please don't deny it because he's waiting, you're sweeping it under the cup and he's waiting for you somewhere. So you accept it wholly. This has happened. But there's always another thing, another way of looking at this. Sorry, excuse me. It can't be that bad. How else can I look at it? What lessons have I learned? How can I reframe it to make it better for me in a way? But a lot of times what we do that undermines our mental well, say, Funke, hey, Funke did this bad. Hell, Funke have done that. Eh? So Funke, you are recycling the problem. You are funkeing and funkeing. You're not even looking for a way out. You're not moving forward. You're not moving backward. You're standing rooted and funkeing and funkeing and funkeing. Do you see the difference? But reframing, Funke did this to me. Well, I've learned that. Blah, 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 blah. Well, it maybe I've learned this. So knowing this, that this is not about me. So you just reframe it in a way that suits you. I don't know what the issues are. Do you understand? So please don't deny it. No. Accept it. Learn from it. Redefine it, see it as an opportunity, not a challenge, and then move on with it.
All right, ma. I had an elderly man visiting me some time ago. In fact, it was this morning when I was getting ready to come here that I got the problem was diagnosed, and it was one word. The Spirit of God told me that the man is late now, unfortunately. The man was on fulfillment. Yes. So it was an elderly man. He came to me. He did 5 businesses, different kinds of businesses, and they all collapsed. And the man took it, he saw me like a young pastor. I was very young then, and I could not handle it. One problem was that he didn't know how to meet the elderly pastors. Maybe they would see him as a failure. So he came to me. And for me, I didn't have that experience. And he couldn't go to the older pastors. All I could do was to encourage him. Yes, and pray for him. And he couldn't start his life. Maybe he was thinking it was too late. So he lived in that unfulfillment. And you can see how it affected his life. He died in a recluse. Was withdrawn. Because he did different kinds of business, but when he told me the kind of money, effort, and I realized that it's something we should deal with too. Because young people, this unfulfillment, I don't think it goes with age. I don't think it goes with age. And it has this mental aspect also. Because it defined his life. Unfulfillment. It defined his life. And he accepted it that he was thinking he couldn't start again. So how do we, I don't know if anybody is going through that, you just feel unfulfilled. Maybe you see your mates have gone ahead and you feel that, how should we deal with unfulfillment? And is there any age that we can't start something new?
Praise the Lord. So you see, the first two problems or two things that that man did wrong. Number one, you heard what I said. Sharing with somebody is very, very important. And then authenticity. There's nothing as empowering as being vulnerable. You said he didn't want to open up to the senior pastors so that they won't see him as a failure. You see, it's so empowering to be vulnerable. Hey, I'm struggling with, hey guys, and you can put it in a way that a sense of humor. Hey guys, this is what I'm suffering, Can you help me? You'll be amazed at where solutions will come in. But when you hide yourself in a place, what will they think of me? It's ego, it's the devil undermining, stealing from you. Because you are dwelling in your ego, in your pride. What will they say? What will they think? And all of that. And it doesn't help anybody. So that's number one. You must be willing to share. Be willing. And I don't say go broadcast your story in the street. One person. So there must be somebody you can go to. Secondly, that unfulfillment, a therapist could have helped him. Unfortunately, mental health issues and therapists and psychotherapists just only beginning to open up in this climb of the world. I remember when I came from abroad and I used to say I'm a psychologist, people will be wondering and asking, what am I talking about? I came with that thinking that, okay, I'm going to move mountains. I'm going to move mountains. When I got to the psychologist, I'm a business psychologist, and all that, they're looking at me. But mental health issues with COVID. So all he needed to do was to see a therapist. You heard when I was talking about the option of therapy. Therapists will help you see. A therapist would have helped him see that even if 10 businesses failed, you are separate from the business. That doesn't make you a failure. What he was suffering from was that personalization, that cognitive distortions of personalization. The mind telling him that you are a failure. You failed in 5. Even if you failed in 20, you are not a failure. You have just not known, you have just done 20 ways of not doing the business right. There must be another way of doing it correctly. Probably. And then business failing, there are so many factors. It may be the wrong business, it may be the wrong environment, it may be the people, it may be wrong processes and all of that. In addition, a therapist or a coach would have looked through all of those businesses. This one, you shouldn't have gone into this way. Or timing. Certain business ideas may be correct, but the timing is wrong. So what that guy needed to do was open up, seek professional help, and then start afresh. How can you say it is too late to start afresh now? Grandmother Moses, 90 years, Google her. She started painting in her 90s. Even the Bible is filled with opportunities of examples of people. Who says you are not good enough? Who says you are too old? Too old for what? Where is the evidence? People are starting life all over. So it's a mindset thing, and that's why I focused on your mindset. You must build your internal power. You must build your internal power, your self-belief, your self-regard. Your mindset must be optimized so that whatever comes, you're able to say, this one is not for me. This is not about me. There's nothing. The Bible says you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Can people struggle with unfulfillment? Yes. No age limit is immune to unfulfillment. Can in the earlier age, but there's something called midlife crisis, and it is so true. Men and women alike suffer from midlife crisis, but women go through midlife crisis more because we have reproductive and productive roles. So for a lot of women who give up their careers to raise families, by the time they hit 50s, they begin to struggle with, because a lot of us, we throw ourselves, particularly for our generation and our mother's generation, we throw ourselves into the lives of our children. I tell women, I say the beginning of your child's life need not signal the end of your own individuality. A lot of women do that and they begin to struggle with a sense of identity. And let me tell you, purpose is powerful. You must do a purpose session in it. I don't know if people have done it, but purpose is powerful. There is a seed of greatness that God put inside of you. You must know why you were created. Even if everything is falling apart, your sense of purpose will enhance your mental well-being and help you go. Because it's your natural environment. It's a partnership between you and God. So God comes there and partners with you in place of your purpose. So finding your purpose will answer a lot of questions. And these days you can make money from anything. Just be excellent at what you do. Deliver value and people will pay you. You can be solo entrepreneurship. You don't have to have a big office. Digitalization has made everything easy. The trainings I did recently for the corporate, they were all virtual. And they paid me my money. I sat in my office and I did the training. The Wi-Fi in my office was not too good. I came home and I put on my laptop and I put my banner, Work Life Solutions, at the back. And I did my training. What can you do? There's so much you can do. Find your purpose. Know the business of that purpose, the business of that talent, and give yourself fully to it. All right.
Okay. Thank you so much. So my question is, so I'm going to do a narration, so maybe you can try to understand how I'm thinking in my head. So I think I'm not super sensitive, but I'm sensitive, and it comes down to people who are close to me, say loved ones or family members. So, loved ones or family members. So I think that's where my sensitivity is. So I trust you. You're my family. I trust you. And if there is a glitch, there is a little, you twist it, I tend to draw back. I draw a boundary. Like I start drawing back. I start hiding away. And then so the person thinks being selfish or doing, but it's just me trying to protect. And in that, I don't know how to come to you and say, so this is what you did. And especially if you're an older person, like elder sister, elder brother. So in dealing with what you did to me, I draw back. Like I just draw a line and let you, and let you. So how do I deal with that sensitivity? Because I know if you're not close to me and we're not family, I don't get to see you, I don't get to talk to you, I don't get to text you all the time. So it's there. But we're family, so I struggle. So I give an instance. So my elder sister asked me to reach out to someone and talk to the person about a certain one or two things. Personally, I wasn't ready to do it. I'm not in that frame of mind to start sharing with that person. So this is this, this is this. If I do, I will break down and cry. And she doesn't understand that. Me, like that, like I asked you to do something as your elder sister and you're not doing it. And then she ended that conversation with like, tomorrow when you come back to me to ask for something, I don't give it to you. You will say I'm a wicked person. Now, I have a pressing need. I want to. Now, I'm caught in between, should I tell her or not? Because taking from her last statement, our conversation. So my question exactly is, how do I deal with these sensitive issues with family members? Thank you.
There's a number of situations I see at play there. People who are super sensitive, I'm not saying this must be your issue, but for a lot of what from my own basic understanding, professionally and even experience, people who are super sensitive like that are struggling with a number of these things. There may be self-esteem issues there, so you need to find out. And then another thing is question your assumption. Why are you super sensitive? Is it that when they tell you things, it hurts you, it makes you feel bad, it makes you feel low, it makes you feel less than? How does it make you feel? What emotion is it evoking in you when people do that? You'll be able to tell whether it is a low self-esteem or pride. Whether it is low self-esteem, it may that be low self-esteem or pride. If it makes you feel low, if it makes you feel less than, if it makes you feel worthless when they break that trust, then you know it is low self-esteem. But if it makes you feel angry, how could they? Why should they? Then you know it is pride. Each one of them will be dealt differently. Now, communication. Assertive communication is very critical, not aggressive. And I will tell you how you do assertive communication. And then you can practice it. You need to practice. The solution to that is, so after diagnosing why you feel that way, the next step is you need to build the skill of assertive communication. How does assertive communication work? Supposing the person who did that thing to you is Tonya. Tonya, you see, you did this to me. What you did to me, this is how it made me feel. I value my relationship with you, and I don't want to have to feel this way or cut off from you. Can I please ask that you do not do it again? How does that sound? You didn't attack the person. Tonya, you're always doing this. You didn't attack the person. You clearly, rationally stated. There's nobody you would tell that who wouldn't melt. You stated what the person did. You stated the effect it had on you and what it might make you do and what you didn't want to do, and then you made a request for the person to do it again. If the person does it, the person will have to be a fool or not even value your relationship at all. And when you say somebody that is not close to you, they are there, that's a wrong mindset to have in a connectedness economy as ours. Relationships are very critical. You never know who would be your purpose enhancer to open that door. Get into the zone of never discountenancing any relationship. No matter how lowly the person looks, don't discountenance. There's a couple in Calabar who trained somebody. The person was their house. I think they trained the person, sent the person to school. Today, the person has a job abroad. He sends for them to come and do vacation abroad. Say, come, let me spoil you. That was somebody they picked up and trained. You never know. So don't say you don't see them, they don't see you, so and push them aside. Don't discountenance any relationship. That's what I will tell you. So how do you practice assertive communication? Start doing it repeatedly. You can start with staying in front of the mirror and practicing. Write sentences for different issues you want to address. Stand in front of the mirror and practice it. See, behavior can be practiced. It takes 21 days to learn a new habit. The 21-day behavior habit. It takes 21 days to learn a new habit. If you do it every day for 21 days, and then 66 days for it to be ingrained in your neural network, it becomes automatic. We move from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence to unconscious competence and then unconscious competence. How do I mean? You do not know it, which was maybe probably where you were before you came to this train, unconscious incompetence. Now, I'm telling you what to do. I have brought it to your conscious for that. You do not know this, and this is what you need to do. So you have moved into the zone of what? Conscious incompetence. As you begin to practice it, you move into the zone of conscious competence. It's funny. It's weird because you are practicing it and doing it. But as you keep doing it and it's engraved in your neural network, it becomes an unconscious competence. That's how driving is. You want to drive, you do not know how to drive. You start to drive. You see the new driver, he's like this. That is conscious competence. He has started driving, but he must be focused. So he's like this. And then as he becomes used to driving, he's like this. Or holding his phone and doing like this. So that he has now moved to what? Unconscious competence. You can learn anything. Anything you want to learn, go to social media, go to YouTube and practice it. Remember, it takes 21 days. See, life is a lively process of becoming. Build yourself up. Learn any skill. You can learn how to be emotionally intelligent. You can learn how to communicate better with people. You can learn how to be more extroverted if it will help you. So know the skills you need to maximize your life and then learn them. Prayer builds you up. Prayer doesn't we're not in the season of manna. God is not going to drop manna. He's put too much inside of you to still drop manna. You have the Holy Spirit, His Holy Spirit of excellence now. You have His presence with you. So why do you still need manna to be dropped? We're not in the dispensation of manna. We're in the dispensation of what? The Holy Spirit. So does that help? Does that help? So you are going to go to your sister now. Stand up, let's practice it. Because everybody must move forward today. You can't go back the same now. So if you have all your issues, begin to bring them out. You can't attend a session like this from morning to night and then you're going back the same way. No now. So, what's her name? And then there's communication. You look at her eye to eye. Sister, you look at Sister Chiamaka. Sister Chiamaka, I'm sorry about what happened the last time. When you told me to go and talk to that person, I didn't want to talk to that person because you state the reasons. I'm sorry it looks like it made you feel I disrespected you. I didn't mean to disrespect you or go against your word. This is how it would have made me feel. You see my tone? You see my tone? Not Sister Chiamaka. So this thing, if I had done that, I would have felt that way. But I'm apologizing because I see you are angry. Please don't be angry. Don't be angry. This was why I did it. Okay. But don't ask to make that request that same day. She will think that it's because of that request that you came. So you now do, and when you finish saying that thing, you will not do something for her. What can you do for her? You will not do one thing for her, then you will not wait like maybe like a week. I hope that thing doesn't have deadline. You now wait like a week, then you go and ask for that thing. Mm-hmm.
You should, and then it's like your own emotion at that time is not being valid. They're not
By what
trying-
she says,
Yes,
by what she said.
because I have actually done that. Like, okay, so
So how did she react? How did she react?
for the sake that she is my elder sister.
And
I
how
should
did she
have-
react?
No, that's what she said. For the sake that she is my elder sister, I should.
No, but you should know. But you should say, okay, so okay, don't argue with her. I say, okay, sister, I hear that, but I didn't want to do it. Let it not cause acrimony between two of us. And then you've apologized. Begin to relate with her normally. Call her tomorrow, sister. How are you? You've apologized, so move ahead. Don't let that thing still be an issue. Begin to relate with her normally, as you normally relate to her. As long as you have crossed that boundary, you have apologized. Even if she's carrying face, relate to her. My sister told me one thing. She said when she enters the office, somebody will be carrying face. Oh, hello, hi, how are you doing? Then she will go to the ones that are carrying face and call them personally by name. Do it the first time, do it the second time. You see, oh God, we need to stop sweating the small sweat. Nothing means anything except the meaning you give to it. That person is carrying face. It's your own wahala. Carry your face. Me, I'm enjoying my life. Nothing means anything. The fact that the person is carrying his face doesn't make you any less. You yourself, you know yourself. So why would the person carry face and you allow that person's carrying of face to affect you? You know what you are doing? You are giving control of your life to that person. So that person determines whether you are happy. That person determines whether you will cross. Some people avoid crossing a certain part. That person determines whether you will cross this part. That person determines whether you will show up in church. That person determines where you will sit in there. Is that not too much power given to somebody over your life? So these are simple strategies. Okay. Bring your problems now, we'll talk. Or forever hold your peace.
Thank you so much, ma, for all the powerful presentation. My book is almost getting filled. I kept writing, and I was getting so motivated and encouraged by your. Someone earlier asked a question, and I actually wanted to add a little to it using what you explained earlier. Though she is not here, but maybe I think, okay, all right. I hope someone will pass this across to her. You earlier explained the relationship between the amygdala and the frontal lobes. That's the cerebral cortex, the emotional aspect and the logical aspect, and the point at which the emotional aspect overwhelms the logical aspect. So there is this statement I always use with my clients in cognitive restructuring, that I think what I think or I feel what I feel does not necessarily make it right. That I think it or I feel it does not. In fact, I stand to say that emotions are so deceptive, and even at some point, your cognitions too, so deceptive, that if you allow them, they become the lords over your life. So at some point that you were able to do the right thing, and you are not having the emotions that you want to use to validate, to validate, it doesn't make it right. That you were able to assert yourself, for example, like you said, you should be happy that you did it. It takes a great man to be so humble to assert herself or himself. But when you do it, it depends on the angle. I think one thing I have picked from all that you are saying, there is something you said, the meaning, nothing becomes.
Nothing means anything except the meaning you give to it.
Yes, I think that's my take home. Yes, that's my take home today. Nothing means it's already here. I'll go and write it. I'll put it on the wall of my house. Nothing means nothing except the meaning you give to it. So in your world, like I said, mental health is not objective. It's not an objective concept, but a subjective concept. So I want to feel good. let me just know what is right. I'll do what is right, and I don't allow anyone to define it for me. So I'm really encouraged, ma, and I really want to pray that God bless you and appreciate the leadership of the church.
Do you know that in fact, now I was talking about cognitive distortion. Emotional, there's a cognitive distortion called emotional reasoning. If I feel it, it must be right. It's a cognitive distortion, it's a lie. The fact that I feel it doesn't make it right. No. You can be feeling a particular way and behaving a particular way. So you're reading, but see, whether you believe you can, or you believe you can't, you are correct. Whether you believe you can or you believe you cannot, you are correct. So that's why I say be done to you according to your faith. These psychological people, these people were Christians, so there's no how you will convince me that they were not Christians. They were Christians because everything they are saying is biblical principle. Okay.
Praise the Lord. This is related to mental health.
Okay.
I want to know if it's normal, like if it's a problem to be calm at, even when it's like in a chaotic environment. Because I've had a lot of, and it's even questioning my actions right now, because I've had a lot of people say, how are you always like this? Is it like you don't have emotions or what? And okay, let me take for instance, I was seeing a guy, and then he did something that was obviously not nice. So he came and he told me. I was like, okay, so what's the way forward? And then he said, you're not angry. I said, no, I'm not angry. I'm just sad and disappointed. And then he said, there's something wrong with you. I said, no, there's nothing wrong with me. You don't have to tell me how to feel. He said, no, it means you don't love me. I was like, okay. And that's like another aspect, though. But I get things from friends, too, and then they say something, I'm just like, okay, yes, but they expect me to behave a certain way, like maybe I should scream or I should shout. And then, yes, and now before I really don't care, because I'll just be like, it's already done. That's my own, like, whatever you say, this is my problem. It's already done. You can't reverse it. So we should be thinking of how to move forward, how to tackle it, rather than you running here, jumping to this other point. But they seem to see it like you're not normal. So now I'm trying to say, maybe.
So you want to know whether you're normal or
yes, because I'm like, maybe they're right. I'm not actually normal. I have to talk to someone.
That's a good thing. Now, what I see assumptions. Let me come here so that you can see my face because of this pillar. Assumptions are very important. The motives. That's why Jesus Christ said, question your motive. I think the psychologists were Christians. What you need to go and sit down and reflect on is, when you are calm, why are you calm? Are you calm because you don't care? Or are you calm because, you can find your problem solving? Are you calm? That person, that boyfriend who did that particular thing, and you were calm. Is it that? Find out why. Find out why you were not calm, why you were calm. Is it because by nature you are forgiving? And you feel that you can cut him some slack and both of you can work together towards it, you are empathetic, or you don't really feel love towards him? It doesn't matter to you. You must question the assumption. Your answer lies in your assumption. There is a personality disorder. I can't remember now whether it is histrionic or avoidance. Those ones, they don't feel any emotions. No, there's a disorder. It's either histrionic or avoidance. It's a personality disorder. I can't really remember which one of them. They don't feel anything at all. They do not feel. So you need to be sure that that's not what. So question your assumption. If your assumption is that thing he did to you, you didn't. There's a difference between feeling it, remaining calm, being empathetic, and being willing to work towards a solution, or not caring at all. It doesn't matter to you. You don't care. You don't give a damn. Then there must be a problem. Particularly if what the person did was something that is really bad, and you didn't feel anything, there is a problem. You may need to see a psychologist. They have profilings that they do. They will ask you different kinds of questions. You want to be sure you don't have a personality disorder. Let me ask you, if you see a lion here now, will you still be calm? If you will still remain calm, then that one is a serious problem. So question your assumptions, young lady. Your answers lie in your assumption. Everything that they have done to you that you remain calm. When you get back home, write them down. Ask yourself, why was I calm in this situation? And be truthful to yourself. You would know. If you were calm because you didn't care, I mean, you move on. The following day you are laughing at this, there is a problem. It may be a psychological disorder. But if you were calm because your mind is so optimized, you feel empathy, this thing, you know it is wrong. You felt bad, but you are willing to work with it. You are empathetic and all of that. Then that's a good one. But you need to do more work on it. The answer lies inside of you. Find out why you are calm. Do you understand? Find out. Somebody comes to you and says, so what's your name? See me, I stole 50,000 from your bag, and I slept with your boyfriend or this thing. And then you just do like this. There's a problem though. Don't you think that there's a problem? There's a big problem. There's a problem. No, it's not a mental disorder. No. It's a personality disorder. It's not mental, it's a personality. But if the person did this, you say, Kemi, how could you have done that? That is terrible. Okay, come, sit down. Why did you do it? You've not eaten for 5 days. It's bad. Don't do it again. Don't do it. But you're calm in saying all of that. Then that's okay. So look at your motives. Look at your assumptions. No, they don't have they cannot dictate how you will react now. Why do you dictate to some other person how you react? No. But you owe it to yourself to question your assumptions. Look at your motives. Why are you this way? You must find that answer if you want to be true and be truthful to yourself. Do you understand? Get to the root of it. Find out why you are the way you are. But nobody should dictate to you how you react. Why would you tell somebody the person has to react in a particular way? I've never, do you understand? You can't, no. But you must get to the root of this. And be willing to walk through. If you need to see a therapist or all of that, walk through it. If you can't find the answers on your own. Do you understand?
Okay. This is a question.
Finally, the men are asking questions. I said, no guys, ask, okay, you have asked from you. Okay, you have asked questions.
So thank you very much for this awesome, the first speaker said, that particular sentence you gave us, it's my take home too,
Write it at the frontlets of your head.
In fact, so I am a big, will I call it fan or advocate for positive affirmation? I mean, in my sessions, I usually try as much as possible to use affirmations a lot. Teach my clients to use positive affirmations in dealing with a lot of cognitive distortions, and stuff like that. So, but there's something that usually come up a lot of the times. In fact, there were some group sessions that it was it was something that at least one person asked. They said, now you're saying we should be positive, we should say positive things. I lost someone, or a girlfriend jilted me, and I am telling myself, I gave an example of someone who used this positive affirmation, and this person actually got through that particular issue because this thing was very bothersome to this person, and, but still they asked the question, are you saying that if I keep saying positive things to myself, I won't feel bad at some point or at some intervals? Would it just go away? Like, would that bad or negative emotions just dissipate and disappear? And because I'm talking to myself, I am strong, I am beautiful, I am this, I am, and you're saying all those things, and, I'll just forget the whole bad things that has happened, that everything will be fine.
What does the Bible say about wisdom? In all you're getting, get wisdom and get understanding. Remember what I said to her. Positive affirmation is not that you will live in denial. And it's not every positive affirmation you say, I am this, I am that, I am that. Positive affirmation is wisdom to know the right affirmation you will say at that time. Somebody dies, you say, I am good, I am this, I am capable, I am this, I am that. You're getting. Get wisdom now. Somebody dies. Oh, this is terrible. This is this thing. But God will see me through. I will get past this. Painful, but I will get past this. God will make a way. That's positive affirmation. So it's knowing, wisdom is knowing the affirmation to apply at that particular time. And some people will say affirmation must be backed up by action. You are affirming, you are just quoting scriptures in the premises. You are not adding action to it. I am beautiful, I am this, I am that, I am that. You will continue quoting and quoting and quoting and nothing will change. Affirmation must be backed up with action. So wisdom is applying, knowing the right affirmation to apply for that situation. So let that be that person's answer. Don't just be quoting empty affirmations like that. No. Know the right things to. It just builds you up. What energy do you need at that particular time? Tie the affirmations to it. Do you need energy to grieve well? Do you need energy to support yourself? God will see me through this. God will make a way. Do you need financial this at that particular time? God will make a way for me. God will enable me to find opportunities. I am graced. I am anointed. I am skillful. I will find a way through. This is not the end of my life. Do you understand? So, I hope that answers the question. Hallelujah. Amen. I know the introvert.
Praise the Lord. All right, so my own case, I'm just going to explain something briefly. Growing up, I tried to relate to my parents. I tried to explain things to them. I tried to make them understand me. Maybe I'm going through some emotional issues, but they don't understand. They always see everything to be spiritual. I know that everything, like the spiritual controls the physical, but I'm feeling this way, it's spiritual. Papa falls on your front, it's spiritual. They poop on your head, it's spiritual, maybe beds and everything. So it made me actually not speak to them. I keep silent mostly. So now it's affecting me generally because I don't like talking to people that much. I don't like communicating. I have people send me messages on WhatsApp and I want to reply. But I'm like, I don't want your drama. I have this, I don't want your drama. I love my space. At some point, I told my mom, can you leave the house for me? I want to be alone. And sometimes I feel pain. I'm going through something, but I can't tell my parents. They'll just see me crying. And what's wrong with you? Leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Leave me alone. And even relationships that mean a lot to me. Growing up, I don't talk to them. I don't talk to people. I don't relate that much. I need your help, but I don't know how to come. I feel like you don't understand me. And it's now painful because I have friends that don't understand me too. I'll be like, no, they don't still understand. So I'm like, just stay your day. Give me that space. So I'm not like, is it the problem? Is it that I'm just going through a phase? Or is now my person? It's just me being in my space. I only have 2 people that I talk to very well in this life, apart from my parents. Even my parents, I don't talk to them actually that much. So, and I'm not happy about it.
So I was going to say, the question I was going to ask is it okay for you? Because for some people, it will be working for them. They'll be functioning optimally. They'll be making their money. They'll be relating. But if it's not working for you, then you need to seek help. You need to go and see a professional, a psychotherapist or a professional mental health counselor. You just must. See, in psychotherapy, mental health, we say the distresses that we feel in life that affect our mental health are either a product of our past. Then we use what we call psychodynamics to counsel, or a product of your thoughts. Then we use CBT and RABT, or a product of your environment. So what I'm sensing is your own is background. Maybe upbringing has led you, because what our experiences does to us is that they make us build our beliefs. So you may have certain beliefs that you have built that are not working for you. You may not even know about them. They may be ingrained in your unconscious. So what counseling will help you do is to bring them to the conscious for, so that you can deal with them. What you don't transfer from the unconscious for to the conscious for, you are never able to deal with. It just remains there and is undermining you because you don't know it. So how do you take care of what you don't know? So therapy will help you bring it out from the unconscious for into the conscious for. There may be beliefs that you hold. It may even be personality. It may be because you are wired in a particular way. Very core introverts like their space. They get their power from inside. It doesn't mean that you don't like people, but you just like your own space. They are deep thinkers. They get their energy from being on their own. If they have not been on their own, they will not be okay. On the flip side, extroverts they must be with people. They get their energy from people. That's where they get their ideas. Guys, let's brainstorm. This is no. But on the flip side, introverts will just be in their corner. Those are the ones who don't even talk. As you are saying things, they are soaking in everything. They are the ones who can even tell you what you have said because they are very deep thinkers. So it could also be a product of your personality. But you are in a society and you must relate with people. So if your personality is like that, you have to find coping skills that will enable you to function optimally because you are not living on an island. More so, the business world is a connectedness one. It's a social world we are in. It's a relationship world. You must do life with people at different levels if you are to attain a particular level of success. So therapy is what I would recommend with you. Go and talk to, not church counseling, professional therapy, where they will use tools, speak with you, either psychodynamics, look into your mind, CBT, your thoughts, or your environment. That's what I would recommend. And it's good you are saying you don't like it. So when you don't like something, you want to do something about it. Okay? You want to do something about it. You are giving people a microphone. Won't you ask your own?
I don't know if it's actually in line with the topic, but there's a scenario like that happened. I think this thing happened 3 times. Somebody saw me last year, I think June or July or so. The person just came to me, long time, we were once in Port Harcourt. I was like, no, I don't know you. You understand? Yes. Then early this year again, that same thing happened. Somebody saw me in the market and was like, we went for one interview like that. I was like, So my question now is, when you see such things, what should you do? Or what do you think I feel I should do? Thank you.
What have you been doing? Let's start with that one. What have you been relating with them? What have
you? I've not seen you before, so.
I'm sorry, please forgive me. Can you tell me where we met? Put the person on the spot. What would the person say? Oh, really? I don't know. Where did we? But be sure you are guarding your environment. Somebody came and met my husband. I was telling my husband. This one said, he just started telling me about the book he's launching and the role my husband will play in the book he's launching. Doesn't know him. So people they are weirdos all over the place. Not everybody walking around is normal. Some people are obtainers. Some people are looking for how to solve. You think business is only to set up that's their business. Or you think business is only to set up an office and you are doing legal this. Entrepreneurship, that's his own business. That's his market. He's doing his market. So if you want to be his client, then you will fall for it. But if you don't want to be, just politely that I'm sorry. If you are sure, I'm sorry, I don't know. Can you remind me where we met? The person will call one place that you have never been in your life, and you say, I'm sorry, I've never been there. And then you enter your car and go. That one doesn't call for any serious. Just know that, and then be careful, because before you do this, they will just whisk you and put inside car. Before you know it, you have found yourself inside the boot of somebody's car. So you need to be really, really, really aware. These are horrible, critical times that you must safeguard your space. Not just your mental health, safeguard your physical environment and your physical space. Okay. And the problem is that you can't force people to therapy. So when I counsel couples, I usually start, the women are usually more willing. So we usually start with the women, work on the women, then tell them. So a lot of times, when the woman works on herself and goes back to the home and the husband sees the changes, he becomes more willing. So my advice would be, you can't force people to therapy because it will be ineffective. Work with the willing party. Work on the willing party with the willing party. And then tell the willing party, let your change be obvious. Like this lady who now was used as an example, and I said the husband was cheating on her and was just turning her brain. By the time she worked on herself and she went back, the man saw his changes, and she told me that her husband is willing to come for therapy now. So short stories that you can't force people. Work with the willing party, and a number of times, when that person goes back and is a light, the second person will want to come back. So you have a responsibility. The person who is the willing party has a responsibility to go back and let your light shine, so that the other person would be willing to work. Because what it does for you now, you've now empowered yourself, and then you now go back to the marriage, and things that used to cause you stress, you just look at them. So you stop sweating the sweat, You just answer politely, even if the person is losing it. And the person, one day, the person will come to his senses that this thing that this person has done, let me go and see, let me go and do it. So I like it, let me go and do it.
I thank God for being here. The topic and everything was very interesting. But I want to ask a question. When it was coming up, this quiet, shy, indoor, I'm an introvert. And the thing is actually affecting me. Sometimes I like staying alone, as you earlier mentioned. And, some people will not understand. They'll think that this person is proud of doing things. And this time around, before even now, I was staying indoors. People would say, come out, meet your friend. I will still be indoor. The thing is just like, it's holding me down, and people are complaining about that. So how can I do to help myself?
Okay. Everything, first of all, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Everything God created was good, and the Bible says that when he looked at it and it was good, and he said everything was good. So we have the extroverts who must be with people. We have the introverts who must take their space. It doesn't mean you don't like people. It means that you get your energy from, you just like your space. You get your energy from this. And it happens a lot with couples. You see a couple where the husband is extroverted, the woman is introverted. And the person says, Mama Yemi, sorry, sir. Mama Kemi, I'm bringing, mom is coming from the village. She's bringing all of them. And they are coming this afternoon. You are just telling her that morning. It's going to be a problem for her. It's going to be a big problem for her. You are energized because when the house is full, you are happy. But it's not so for her. It doesn't mean she doesn't like your people, or that she's selfish or she's wicked. She needs time to plan. Where will they sleep? I need to go to the market and get food ready for them. So her mind is already going. But when you tell her in the morning and in the afternoon, the whole village is landing in the house, it's going to be a problem for her. Doesn't mean she's wicked. So what you need to do is create a balance. Because, yes, you like your space, but unfortunately, you're not living on an island. You must do life with people. You must interact with people. So, in what aspect? So you just strike a balance. Where do you need to interact with people? So once in a while, what I tell people, you do a touch and go back. You do interact with people, but ensure that you divide your time, that you have maximum time to recoup. That as an introvert, no matter how introverted you are, spending small time with people will not kill you. So the first thing is do that mindset shift and reorientation. I live with people. I live with human beings. I must do life with human beings. I must interact with human beings. Yes, I like my space, but necessity demands that I must still spend time with people. So I'm going to be intentional about spending time with people. So you carve out, you know what your activities are. Carve out 1 hour, 2 hours, go do, and then jump back inside again. Yes, you are introverted. You cannot say, I'm introverted, or if they like, let them not understand me. If they like, let them understand me. Me, I'm introverted, man, I stay, man. No. So strike a balance. As long as you are able to have maximum time for yourself, you will be fine. You'll be okay. You'll be very fine. But you must do life with people. Tell yourself you must do life with people. So go out, interact with one another, and then jump right back in again. And then when they tell you, you've now learned about personality type. You can even Google it and read about it. So it's still asserting yourself. See, communication is powerful. You say, I like, see me. See what I learned about. Self-awareness is key. And being authentic. See, I learned something new today. I learned that you can be wired either extroverted or introverted. And it doesn't mean you don't like people. It means you just like spend more time on your space. That's where you get your energy from. So all those times that I spend in the room, I'm sorry, it's not that I don't like you people, but you know that I love you people now. But can you, somebody is laughing. But can you people just understand that I just need this more time to myself? After some, we'll come and play again. Do you understand? Speaking the truth, explaining yourself to people, not the one you will just stay and, if they like, let them understand. If they like, that one is their own akbari. Life is about effective and assertive communication. It solves a lot of problems. It's such a powerful tool, and it solves a lot of problems. my throat has finally. my throat has. Is there another question? We'll build a tabernacle. We'll build tabernacle inside here.
Sorry.
Today, we'll do from this one. We'll go to VG. We'll go to all night.
Sorry, ma'am. Please. At what point should we start visiting therapists? At what point? A very quick one. An example. Let me set an example. A friend and I were involved in something that has to do with
I'll finish first. Sorry.
Let me come again. At what stage or when should you visit a therapist? Because I was trying to make an example earlier. A friend and I were involved in something earlier this year that has to do with like 9 zeros. And I said, if this comes, I'm visiting a therapist.
What's
and
90?
Figures.
Okay.
Yes, figures.
If it comes, you visit a therapist.
Yes, because I feel this is not just gun kills, money kills as well. When you're dealing with hundreds of millions now, do you understand?
Okay,
so
sorry.
yes. So I said, if this comes, I'm visiting a therapy. I'm definitely getting some sections. And people smile. They say, why? Because I feel I've not been here before. I've not been at this stage before. So I need to be calm. I need some persons to talk to me. Not because I don't know what to do with those stuff, the money or something. Because I need some section. Do you understand? So at what point should one realize that he or she needs to do the needful?
Are you sure it's a therapist you need or a financial coach at that point in time?
No, I feel.
The first question, understand your question. The first question a therapist will ask you when you go to a session is, what is your goal for this session? So to answer your question simple and short, when do you think you need a therapist? When you cannot function on your own anymore. When you cannot function normally again, and whatever it is you are dealing with is affecting your normal functioning, and you cannot deal with it alone, then see a therapist. That's what I would say. So if that 90 comes and is making you go crazy, you are not even sleeping in your house again, then go and see a therapist. But if the 90 comes and you are able to sit down and say, okay, this is how much I will spend, you are able to structure it, then you don't need to go and see a therapist. Because the therapist will ask you, what is your goal for this session? What will you tell him? I just made 90. And then we ask you, so what are we going to do? You want to share it in this session? Okay, this session. So I don't think so. Okay, the gift. God will show you what to do. And we say, so Pastor Jerry your pastor has answered the question. Is Jesus is the therapist you need to say, pay the tithe.
Glory.
Which is not good. Financial, which is not good, anticipating the problem. Yeah, it's not also a good thing. On a more serious, it's not good to anticipate the problem. It's called self-fulfilling prophecy. You know what Job said, what I feared most has happened to me. In psychology, it's called self-fulfilling prophecy. You fear this thing, the brain goes and starts scanning, looking for things that match what you are fearing, and then it brings it to your reality. It becomes it's called self-fulfilling prophecy. You gave a prophecy and you fulfilled it by yourself. So please, fear. It's not good. Okay.
Let's do the needful.